Welcome to the Bad Tutors podcast. If you're here for the newest, up-to-date, accurate information on the nerdy topics that are near and dear to your heart, well, let me tell you, you ended up in the wrong place. Here, we're all about hot takes and grandiose displays of misinformation, so stick along for the ride, and you might just blow a blood vessel or two. So, Ian, in Monster Hunter, if you play the game in what I would call the normal experience, you hunt your monsters, do the quest, upgrade gear, and then you hunt bigger and tougher monsters. But in this rather short episode, I just want to talk about what is known as the classification of monsters. And that's basically the type of the monsters.
Oh, we all know that I love a good arbitrary structure.
Now, many of the monsters in the game look like something that theoretically could have come in our world, given massive bears, apes, frog things, and armadillos. But then there are the dragon-appearing monsters that look like your classical dragons. Wings, talons, tails, and of course the teethers.
I think we call them dragon presenting.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad.
Current day and age.
That's my bad. So the way that Monster Hunter breaks down these monsters is based on skeletal structure as well as defining features of the species.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in this because, like, I know Monster Hunter is science-based is the wrong word, but, like, it seems like they try to adhere to laws of physics. Maybe it's not ours because, like, things are too massive and would need too many calories to sustain that size, but, like, within their world, it seems that they try to keep, like, an internal consistency, which I appreciate.
Yeah, they typically keep certain classifications to certain environments, and they tend to have grounded in at least the environmental factors why that species can thrive there.
Yeah, like, especially in world, like we talked about with the immersion a bit last episode, no other than the creatures that are specifically out of place for the sake of the plot, everything that's there, even though they're, like, incredibly outlandish and don't make sense in our world, when you see them in the environment that they're set in, it's very well crafted to make you go, oh yeah, this could live here for sure. And not just like, oh, this is a thing that I'm hunting in a location. It's like, this could reside here and I can conceptualize that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not going to talk about all of the categories because there's a lot. And I'm going to be talking about a couple of them grouped together, just in general. So first I'm going to talk about the herbivore, the fish, the winged drakes, and the neopterons. They couldn't have made it an easy word to say. So these are the game species that sort of flesh out the world, adding a sort of endemic population to the maps so that they don't feel like arenas where you just fight your bosses.
I'm correct in saying these are, at least on average, are small monsters, correct?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, these are the small monsters that aren't directly related to a large monster population as well.
Mm-hmm.
So herbivore is the classification that covers a vast array of these small monster wildlife. You have poro, which are like the woolly mammoth-like creatures. You have aptonoth, which are those herbivorous dinosaurs. And then you have kelbi and anteka, which kind of look like gazelles or caribou in our world.
Yep.
Fish are exactly what they sound like. You fish them out of the little fishing pools in the game, or in the later games, you have somebody else do it for you.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're those things that one of our friends has interacted with in all of the games.
Yeah.
Outside of quests that require it.
Well, like the older games, you'd still have to fish for them, but like in the newer generation, it's sort of like a thing that they realized is not the core experience of the game. Um, then you have the wing drakes, which exist solely to annoy the player, or maybe to build a weird gunner set. They're small flying creatures that appear reptilian. They're thin, they fly in and swarm an area like a flock of birds. And an important note, Remambra is not a wing drake. I bet you didn't know that. It's actually one of two snake correct. Wyverns. Don't you feel
the other one?
Don't you feel cheated? The other one is the big snake from either Try You or For You, Najarala.
Oh, okay. So that classification has one big and one small.
Yep.
And I would have thought that Remambra, I never would have thought of it because those classifications are rarely things that I think about in Monster Hunter, to be honest with you. But I knew that because the armor set for Remambra is just a big, or at least on the female model, is a big King Cobra head. So that makes sense.
Yeah. Neopterons are bugs like Vespoid, Celtas, and Hermitar.
They exist solely to annoy the player and maybe make one dragon attack set.
Yeah, they often are just there to paralyze you when you are setting a trap or something.
Harvesting. Yeah. Conchu, the bane of my existence. Thank God they've never come back since For You.
There are a few exceptions
to my knowledge
to the Neopteron category, because there is Queen Vespoid and Celtas Queen, which are just like the massive,
rest in peace,
the massive bugs that lead the respective kind. And when you fight those queens, you will get swarmed by the other ones. And then there's also the undisputed strongest bug boy, the Altel Ka. I never fought this. I don't know if you did, but this is the final boss in Monster Hunter Gen U or Generations Ultimate.
I was immediately, when I saw that in the script, I was happy to see it because I feel like it's underappreciated because I know how long it took to get to endgame in all of the Gen subsidiaries. So I feel like not a lot of people know about it, and even less people have fought it. As I said, myself included, I have not fought it, but the fight looks really fucking cool. I think we've both watched.
I have watched
the Think Piece video essay, probably that I sent you last time,
and I've read about it. But it's funny because it's like a very intelligent mantis that pulls Dragonators out of the skies to use or not the skies. I'm sorry, pulls Dragonators out of the sands to attack the hunter with, as if they're giant spears. And it also has a pheromone to reduce the defense of the hunters. So it can't be an easy fight, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is basically like about the size of a normal like bug in the world, right? Like you hardly fight it itself, if I recall, in the actual fight. You're like fighting the bigger, Dragonators,
but it's like a puppet master sort of thing.
It's really cool.
I'm gonna jump past this next section in our script, and I'm gonna talk about the fanged beast, the amphibians, and the leviathans.
The amphibians, my favorite part.
Yes, exactly. So
best classification.
These classifications are lesser populated throughout the game. A lot of the species that you'll see in here are actually subspecies, or somewhere back down the evolutionary line there was a distinct split because of environmental changes. So leviathans are a type of wyvern that have evolved a skill in swimming, way more powerful than Piscine wyverns, which I'll talk about in a bit. And they are often the dominant predator in their environment. Royal Ludroth is a little bit bitch-made, but he is a leviathan. And then you have Mizzet.
Really? Oh.
Yep, and then you have...
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
You have Mizetsune, the bubble monster. And my favorite, Legiacrus from Try and Try You, is also a leviathan. They are usually found near a body of water, but there are some subspecies that have adapted to live um, outside of normal environments, and maybe even make homes in volcanoes, like Almudron and Magma Almudron in
Hmm.
Rise. Those are leviathans too.
Oh, interesting.
Hmm.
That makes sense, I guess. Yeah.
And then amphibians are monsters that
The
resemble
real best classification.
they resemble amphibians, as you would imagine, in our real world.
Hmm.
There are only 3 monsters that are in this classification. That's
And two of the three of them are in my top 5 monsters
that's
in the whole series.
Tetsukabra, Zamtrios, and Tetranodon. Tetsukabra is like a rocky little frog guy.
Hmm.
Tetranodon is kind of like a platypus turtle. And then Ian, just go ahead and go off on Zamtrios.
Yeah, Zamtrios is my actual favorite monster in the game. I do just want to give a quick why I like Tetsukabra so much is that when I first started playing For You, it sounds stupid. It was like the first wall for me, even though it's like one of the first couple monsters, but I had never played a Monster Hunter game. So when I was finally able to like farm that monster, and it has a really good defensive set for an early game in For You. So when I was finally able to farm that, it felt really good. And that's what made me like Monster Hunter as much as I do, is killing Tetsukabra a lot. But Zamtrios is like this fish shark frog thing. I
Balloon,
don't even know
yeah,
what he is. Yeah, and he's just this four-legged little, I think he's a shark, really, is
yeah,
what he's supposed to
yeah.
be
He looks like
after.
one.
And he's like pretty fast and dashes around and makes ice armor and everything around himself, but then he like inflates. It's two of my least favorite fetishes, hilariously, that it's also my favorite monster. He's inflation and he's vor
Why did
is
you
what
have to
he is.
include that?
Because it's true, and you were gonna call me out for it if I didn't, so I had to say it. But he just inflates into this massive balloon thing, and it's so funny. It's one of the funniest fights in Monster Hunter, in my opinion, and I
Yeah,
just love him so much. He's so funny, and we got Zamites in Rise, the small version, but we haven't seen him or Tetsukabra we saw in Gen, but we haven't seen either of them since World
right.
at this point.
Um,
And I was happy to see Tetranodon be like just even seeing an addition to our amphibian friends again was very nice. But I want more. I'd love Zamtrios over Tetsukabra, but I feel like Tetsukabra is the more realistic one to bring back. But also Dodogama exists, which is kind of just small, cute Tetsukabra.
and also a fanged wyvern. Um,
Dodogama's a fanged wyvern?
yep.
I mean, yeah, I guess he wouldn't
Doesn't
fit
doesn't have to make
in
total
here,
sense, you
but
know.
yeah.
We'll see that a little bit when we talk about
Okay.
some flying wyverns. But for fanged beast, those are going to be mammalian monsters that lack the capability of flight, and that is incredibly vague, and I think it's purposeful. Um, but they are pretty similar when you look at what we've gotten so far. You have Blinganga and Kongalala, which are like that evolutionary split that I talked about. Um, you have Bishatin, you have Grangolm, Azeros, Lagombi, and of course, everybody's favorite monkey, Rajang.
Hmm.
Um,
This one, in kind of amphibians a bit, to me, feel like the where Monster Hunter is almost realistic, where it's like, okay, I could see a weird split evolutionary tract of like, all right, if I really stretch, these could be real-ish. But everything else, like when you get into wyverns and stuff, it's like, all right, this feels fantasy again.
well, I got to talk about bird wyverns, and then you can say that. Um,
True.
there's so many more fanged beasts, but a lot of them were introduced in Monster Hunter Online and Monster Hunter Frontier, which are both
Mm,
online is just straight an MMO, and then
yeah.
Frontier is almost an MMO, uh, based on the updates and like the way that they rolled out content. Um, but yeah, I'm just gonna leave those off because it wasn't released in the West, and you and I haven't played them, and probably none of our listeners.
No, I haven't even like seen content on them either, so I have like no room to talk about it.
So I'm going to talk about the most notable monsters that we're going to hunt, at least early on. and those are wyverns. I'm going to talk about the bird wyverns first, but in this episode, we'll probably conclude with the flying wyverns, and then more to come later. But bird wyverns have two delineations. There's the flying bird wyverns, which take on a avian build and appearance. They can fly. They're bipedal. Sharp beaks. The notable entries in this are Kirapeko from the third generation, Malfestio from Gen 4, Puke Puke from Gen 5, and the Garugas, which were in Gen 2, I think 3, and I think even Yen Garuga made it into World. The monsters, they fly, they have beaks, they just adapt to their environments, really. They have interesting or unique survival tactics to allow them to survive in such competitive environments. In a world where dragons exist, you have to adapt, or else you will not, stay around for very long. They use things like poison or fire, or in the case of Malfestio, the ability to confuse your target, and it actually reverses the input for hunters. I'm sure you remember how fun that was.
It's a bitch. It's a cool fight, but fuck, I hated dealing with that.
The flying bird wyverns are usually bitch made and some of the earliest monsters that you fight. With the other bird wyverns being the ones that you usually fight before him. So Malfestio just added time to the fight, but it was a really cool owl.
Why do I feel like a lot of importance was put on the Malfestio fight? Why do I remember that one so much more specifically?
There was a lot of new monsters that were introduced in 4U. And then there was...
Wait, Malfestio was 4U?
It was 4U.
Oh, shit. I don't even remember fighting it in 4U. That's wild. Damn.
When did you fight it?
Gen, I think.
Okay, so all right, so 4th generation then, because 4U, okay. Gen, gotcha. Yeah, all the same generation.
Right.
It actually might be exclusive to Gen. I'm not sure. To me, they're all the same. Oh, you played it on the 3DS. It's 4U, or it's Gen, or it's whatever the other one was.
Mm-hmm. Damn, Malfestio should have been one of the Fated 4 or whatever the fuck it was instead of Gammoth. That fight was so lame. Fuck Gammoth.
Whoa.
Gammoth sucks. Fight me. Malfestio is at least cooler than Gammoth. I'll stand by that. Easy.
I'll probably stand by that too. But I want to talk about the theropods in the bird wyvern classification. Okay.
The theropods. Wait a second. That's just a real science word. You can't just pull that out.
Yeah, they're just raptors.
Everything else in here has been fake.
They're bipedal, small, and agile.
Yeah.
The classification hosts a list of some of the most classic monsters in Monster Hunter. You have Great Jaggy, Great Baggy, and the dromes, Iodrome, Gendrome, Velocidrome, and then the sand one that I can't remember.
Cephalodrome.
Nope, that's a Piscine wyvern.
Fuck it is, yeah.
There was another raptor that was tan.
I think it's the first one in Gen. I can't think of it either.
Yeah. Paralysis though. So, yep. they all do something different.
The one that hopped on its tail.
Yes. Gendrome. And so a lot of these, I already talked about paralysis, but they have either an elemental spit attack or status effect or something to sort of switch up the sort of repetitiveness that is in fighting all the different variations. But one thing that most of them can do is they call in lesser members of their pack with their screamer sacks. So they start howling or screeching or whatever, and more of the little fucking buggers come running in.
These kind of feel like the tutorial fights of teaching you about different statuses almost in a weird sort of way.
Yeah, exactly.
Because other than that, they're all basically like the same fight if they don't have different elements.
Yeah, you'll get like some of the blights or poison or paralysis, and like
Mhm.
make sure you take antidotes with you. Or
Yeah, so how do I deal with this mid? How do you deal with paralysis mid combat without getting absolutely clapped every single time, just most of the time?
yeah. Next we have the Piscine Wyverns, which are a fan
Ooh, fuck
favorite.
Piscine Wyvern. Ooh, fuck
They're
them, all of them, every single one.
They are aquatic or magmatic wyverns that have powerful fins to propel themselves through the water, mud, magma, or any other fluid-like state that they can find themselves in. You have everyone's favorite, Plesioth. You have Jerry-Totos and Beatotos, the bane of anybody that played World. And you have like Cephadrome.
Slightly cooler, still bad.
It is worth noting that Cephadrome just sort of swims through sand, and Beatotos swims through deep snow, so like moving through solids.
You don't have the lava one on here.
Which one are you talking about? Lavazia?
Yeah.
That's just it's just no, it is. It's just lava Plesioth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't. It was. I guess I included Beatotos. Okay, there's also Lavazia who swims through lava, and I did say that there's ones that swim through lava.
You did.
Next, we'll go to the most iconic that we're going to be talking about, and that's the Flying Wyvern. And again, two classifications here. We have the true wyverns and the quadrupedal flying wyverns. The true wyverns are going to be your classic species in the game. You have the Wrath species, you have Kezu, Diablos, one of my favorites, not my favorite, but one of them, Basil Geese. These are all true wyverns. Bipedal, capable of flight. They often can appear like dragons, in like the way that they match popular media that depicts dragons. That's true wyverns. They have any range of capabilities in terms of abilities and attacks and stuff. So it's such a populated category that it's hard to say that they're sort of matched up based on their abilities.
When it comes to all of these classifications in terms of distribution, it kind of feels like you have the flying wyverns and the everything else. Like they're broken up, but it's easier to exclude things that aren't flying wyverns than it is to list all of them that aren't.
Yeah, flying wyverns were the most popular and probably have always been the most popular.
Probably always will be the most popular.
Yeah, they're just iconic, fun fights, usually. And then, even the quadrupedal wyverns that are classified as flying wyverns are pretty popular. And they're classified as flying wyverns, but a lot of them have limited capabilities of flight or no flight at all. They have evolved to use their wings more as forearms or forelegs to increase their ability to traverse on the ground. That's usually due to an environment and generations of living in that environment. You have things like Tigrex, Nargacuga, Barioth, and
where does Brute Wyvern fit into this in that case?
So Brute Wyvern's its own
thing? Is that just a subset? I thought that's what Tigrex and Barioth were under, as Brute Wyverns.
Nope. Tigrex has wings, and so does
Barioth.
A little
cut. Yeah, like Nargacuga has the cut wings. I thought those were brutes, though. See, even after hundreds and hundreds of hours of playing these games, I still don't know these classifications. That's why someone needed to talk about it.
Yeah, so basically, a flying wyvern has wings, and then the brute wyverns are bipedal, don't have wings. These would be your Barioth, your Devil Joe, and then
punchy explodey boy who I am totally blanking.
No. He's not a brute wyvern.
He's not a brute wyvern?
No, he's a fang beast. Grand Golem from Rise, is that what you're talking about?
No.
Oh, you're talking about
Big
Brachydios.
Brachydios, thank you. I was
Yes.
totally blanking on
Yep,
it.
sorry.
He's a Brew Wyvern, right?
Yes.
Because he's the same as like Barroth. Okay.
Yes. So these quadrupedal flying wyverns, while they're classified as flying, they don't even necessarily have the capability of flight. Their evolution either allowed for the obsolescence of flight as being the apex predator in the area, or the environment was not as forgiving to creatures that relied on flight to hunt. And then, I said
Makes sense.
the classification relies on wings. Well, some flying wyverns don't even have wings. Don't ask me about it. It doesn't make sense. But yeah,
Science is a tricky subject.
that was just, this is like the low rank classifications of monsters.
Right. We haven't gotten into anything.
We'll get into high rank and then master
the fun
rank
fights. Yeah.
on the next one. But I mean, that's all I got for us today. It's a bit of a shorter episode. I've been weirdly busy this week.
Yeah.
I still want to take a look at all the other classifications, and then I want to talk about the unknown monsters.
Of course, you got to talk about all of them. Those are all the real fun fights.
There's like 6, okay?
Yeah, there's not a ton.
I think 2 of them are like actual monsters, and then the other ones are like Link from Legend of Zelda in a crossover.
Yeah. Fuck
so,
Leshen.
That's actually, I think it's called an artifact or an artifact or something like that. It's not an unknown. Somewhere. It's not an unknown. It's got its own category.
Still, fuck it. That fight sucks so bad. You never did that one, did you?
Nope.
Don't. It's brutal. It's so fucked.
But for now, we'll leave it there. At just an introductory look into some of the monster classifications.
Yeah, we have had some groundwork to lay over our past couple episodes for things to come.
Yeah, so
there's some shorter stuff coming, but I'm sure we're going to be getting into some real lengthy shit coming up here not that long from now.
All right, but that's all I've got.
All right, well, until next time, we hope you have the great rest of your week, weekend, day, whenever you happen to be listening to this. And for now, I've been Ian.
And I'm always Tyler.
And we hope you tune in to the next episode of the Bad Tutors podcast.
Stop bringing fetish into Monster Hunter. It's weird.